What's up, everybody? Welcome to X1, and today we're talking about creatine. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about creatine, the benefits, the disadvantages, things like that. So just quick background really quick is when I came back from Florida and moved back, I weighed around 160, 155 pounds. I was pretty light, pretty skinny. I'd been running a lot. And over the past 2+ years, a little bit more than 2 years, I've had the chance to use a lot of different types of creatine to try and build back some muscle and muscle mass. So I've gotten to experiment with a lot of different types. If there's any particular brand or type of creatine that you're curious about, please let me know in the comments below. I've used probably 30 different types and brands of creatine. So there's a chance I probably used it if it's a popular common brand. I'm happy to answer those questions. Also, make sure you like and subscribe this video. If this is the sort of thing you want to see more of, please let us know. I'm happy to talk about more proteins and glutamines and aminos and things like that as well. So today, just to go over what creatine does really quick. Creatine is a natural product that your body naturally creates, and you can supplement with it. You can bring in a little bit more, a little bit extra by supplementing with things like tuna, salmon, red meats, steak, beef. Those sorts of things have naturally a certain amount of creatine in them. What it does inside your body is it converts to a chemical called ATP, which pulls in water and oxygen into your muscle cells. It helps them be a little bit bigger, gives them a little bit more explosiveness. What it's going to do for you in your workouts and your day-to-day activities is it's going to give you a little boost of strength. Not a huge amount. I'm not talking you're going to be adding hundreds of pounds to your squat or deadlift or bench press, but it's going to give you just a little bit more of kind of an explosive energy, if you will, when you're taking creatine. It's also really going to help in those sorts of exercises like sprints and high intensity training. Where it's not going to have a big effect is in your long workouts, in your 5-mile run, things like that. If you're working out for 2-3 hours in the gym, creatine is not going to help you endure those 2-3 hours. It's really going to affect that 2 to 3 to 4 second gap of time and give you just a little bit more power, a little bit more energy. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to help you put on a little bit of weight if that's what you're looking for. It's going to pull water into your muscle cells. And so that is just going to naturally, make you a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. It's all water weight. It's not necessarily additional muscle mass. It's just there. But it is going to give you a little bit more power. It is going to also give you a little bit of a bigger look if you're trying to just get your arms, your chest, your legs, whatever, to look and feel just a little bit bigger. It is going to help with that. It's not going to help with definition. And if you want to really get that cut bicep look, that's only going to come from, working out and doing things like curls. So it helps in certain ways. And really, it doesn't have as big of an effect as a lot of people think. So it's not a steroid. It's not, going crazy. You're not going to be lifting, 500 pounds more if you start taking it today, tomorrow. It really is going to have a small effect on you. Just to touch on a couple of different types of creatine, there is, the most common is a 100% monohydrate-based creatine. You can get it for pretty cheap in containers of 100 servings or so. What I've found with most monohydrate creatines like that is that it's going to have some pretty strong effects to your digestive system. It's pretty hard on the kidney, pretty hard on the liver for your body to break that creatine down and process it. You're going to have a little bit of a stomach ache if you're taking that creatine. Not everyone has that effect, and creatine doesn't affect everyone exactly the same. So that's not necessarily always true. The second most common type of creatine is called HCl, hydrochloride creatine. And it is much more effective. You can take it in much smaller doses than monohydrate, but it's a lot more of an expensive process to make. And what I found with hydrochloride creatine is while it does have a much more significant effect at smaller doses, it has a kind of a negative effect that in its most pure form, it really doesn't taste that good, even if it's like an unflavored version. And it's also a lot more expensive to get hydrochloride creatine. There's a couple of different products that I've used that I'll link below that I kind of recommend for people who are starting out. But I do have kind of a fun little deal to end today's video on, and that is one creatine that I've been taking the most recently. This is Rebuild creatine from a supplement company called FNX. And it's that first type of creatine I talked about. It's a 100% monohydrate creatine. You take one serving as 5 grams, which is the clinical recommended dose. And it's really, really good. And as far as monohydrate creatines come, this is the only one that I've ever taken that doesn't really have that hard kidney, liver, stomach achy effect from creatine. And this stuff is really, really awesome. Since taking it, I've been on it for about 3 weeks now. I've definitely noticed a big improvement in my energy during those short workouts. I've felt a pretty nice little jump in my bench press and my deadlift as well. And so I think it's really, really good. I'm going to link in the description below FNX's website. They have some really awesome protein powders. They're really great blends. And then they also have some really great pre-workouts, and their creatine and their glutamine is an absolute awesome, awesome deal. And for bang for your buck, this stuff is amazing. I also will be putting in the description below a code that you can insert when you're checking out at FNX that will get you 15% off on this creatine. So I definitely recommend that if you're trying to check out creatine, that you go grab some of this stuff. I really love it, and as far as someone who's been taking creatine on and off for the last couple of years, this is 100% the best bang for your buck that I've found. And so go check it out. If you have any questions about creatine, how it affects me, things like that, please hit me up in the comments below. You can also come and find me on Instagram and Facebook at X1 Strength and Fitness. We're on there as well. Thanks for watching, and remember, you can do anything one time, even if it's just trying creatine once.